WrestleMania 2000 with the tagline all day long. So WrestleMania 2000 was held on April 2nd, 2000, brought to you by Snickers. Even though I don't really talk about the sponsors, but I thought I would. And this was held at the Arrowhead Pond, the same arena that hosted WrestleMania 12 back in the day, with an attendance of 18,034 fans jam-packed to see the main event. But I will say one thing about the main event, not to spoil anything, but the wrong person won the main event. That's all I'll say. So here we go. We're going to start off, which is going to be the opener. I know they usually sing like the national anthem. I guess I could. It was Lillian Garcia who sang America the Beautiful. You know, she is a very good singer. She really is, and I have to say that she did a very good job. She usually did with a lot of them. So here we go. The first match, which was a tag team match between another, in my opinion, unlikely tag team, The Godfather and D'Lo Brown, teaming up, accompanied by rap singer Ice-T, who sang their entrance theme, which is like on the excuse me, on the WWF Aggression CD, which I do own. It's like rap music of wrestlers' theme songs. Some of them are good, some of them are not. So here we go. So, and they face the tag team of the Big Boss Man and Bull Buchanan. And what I'm also going to be doing is like giving like out of 10 for these matches, you know, like who, well, you know, out of 10, like, no, 10 is the best and all that, you know what I mean. So anyway, this match, you know, they did get an ovation, Godfather and D'Lo Brown, but the Big Boss Man and Bull Buchanan pretty much got boos, in my opinion. I'm pretty much sure they did. But the Big Boss Man and Bull Buchanan got the win, the opener. Wrong team won. Big mistake there, you know, not a great opener. I give this one a definite 3 out of 10 because this was not a very good opener. Next, we move on to the second match, which is the Hardcore Battle Royal. First time ever where they have a Hardcore Battle Royal. And this features a lot of people in here going for the Hardcore Championship, where they'll be wrestling for 15 minutes, I believe. Yeah, 15 minutes. And whoever is the winner after the 15 minutes is the Hardcore Champion. So, your people that are in it, the wrestlers are, we have Taz, we have Viscera, we have the Mean Street Posse, Pete Gas, Rodney, and Joey Abs. We have Hardcore Holly as well. We have Kaientai, Taka Michinoku, and Funaki. We have the Headbangers, Mosh and Thrasher, who in that time were in drag, which was pretty much a waste what they were doing because that gimmick, when they did that, was horrible. When they wore their skirts, what they did when with their shirts, real men wear skirts, that was the best. The Acolytes, Farouk and Bradshaw, or APA later, who were the only ones in this one who did not capture the Hardcore title, and Taka Michinoku did not, and Crash Holly, the last one as well. Yeah, pretty much everyone in this match held the belt just except Hardcore Holly later, and almost gave it away there, and Farouk and Bradshaw did not, and Taka Michinoku and Mosh, the Headbangers, did not. So here we go. Taz, first of all, I can go through the whole thing of this because I watched this a lot because I think this is pretty good. Taz, right away, just answering a little quick text message. Put this on vibrate so we don't hear it. Anyway, so Taz got the first one by doing the capture suplex to Crash, and that was only 26 seconds into it, and just like that, he is the champion. But it's still going for 15 minutes. Now, next one is Viscera, who held the belt for a while, for pretty much, over 6 minutes, almost 7. But he would later lose it by Bradshaw doing a flying shoulder block and put Funaki on to cover him with Taka Michinoku as well, but Taka thought he was the champion and smacked him down. So they go all the way to the backstage area, and Rodney becomes the new champion by throwing him into the wall, but later loses to Joey Abs by giving him a gut-wrench suplex, and then Thrasher gets it by throwing Joey Abs into like this little wall, which is like a little thing that opens up like for big trucks or cars or whatever to come into, and then gives him like a clothesline, and just like that he pins him, just with a weak clothesline. Yeah, but still got it. Then, everybody took a lot of shots to the head in this. They don't do that anymore because it's pretty dangerous. You don't want to get like severe concussions or anything or injuries. And everybody's getting hit with like they had all kinds of weapons. Like they had these big baking sheets, like things you put food on or anything, or just like smack them in the head. And every time somebody got hit on them, everybody in the audience is like, "Oh!" Yeah, every hit after another, everybody's going, "Oh, oh!" And that's just like showing you how hard of them hits that they took like that. But they also had like a box fan in there, like a fan in a box, and two people got hit on the head with them, which were Crash Holly, and it pretty much cut him open around the head, like right around here, and that was pretty sick. And then it happened to Pete Gas, so the Mean Street Posse, he got hit with it as well, and he got the pin on Thrasher later by hitting him with the fire extinguisher, and he just had blood coming all over him, and that was pretty much real. That was not fake, I can tell you that. Then Taz becomes a champion again by pinning Pete Gas, and now he's a champion, and we've got less than 5 minutes to go, and now we're getting down to 14 minutes into it, and Crash Holly hits him with a cookie sheet, they call it, and he pins him, but the referee does count 1, 2, and 3, but however, Taz kicks out at 2, because you can pretty much see that he gets the shoulder up at 2, but they still make Crash the champion, and somebody in the audience is saying 2, because they knew he kicked out, but it's part of the act. So Taz puts Crash into the Taz mission, and like he's going to submit or whatever, but he does not, and Hardcore Holly with like almost less than 10 seconds to go, hits the has like a jar that has candy in it, and hits it on Taz and Crash's head, both of them, and he has the pin 1 and 2, but the referee Tim White doesn't put his hand down when he makes the 3 count. He goes 1 and 2, and we got 2 seconds left, and then his hand just never really hits the mat. And then JR, as I was saying, he got a shoulder up, but he did not get a shoulder up, not until like later, and then the clock expired, and then they announced the new hardcore champion, and it's Hardcore Holly. It's a little bit of a shocking ending, a little bit, but I just thought it was a pretty good match. To seeing all them shots that they were taking and stuff, and it wasn't really that bad. But for this one, I'm giving this a 6 because I thought it was pretty good. Next, we have a debut of a tag team on here, and along with a lady on here making her Wrestlemania debut. This is the team of Test and Albert, TNA, along with Trish Stratus as well, who pretty much Test and Albert were getting a huge pop from the crowd, but they were not cheering for them. They were cheering for Trish Stratus because of the way she looked. She looked very good. She still looks very good. And they took on the team of this pretty much bad name, in my opinion, Head Cheese, Al Snow, and Steve Blackman, with Chester McCheeserton, their mascot or something. That, in my opinion, this was not really a good match. This, pretty much we knew who was going to win that, and that was Tess and Albert. Yeah, but this match, in my opinion, is going to be a 4, just because it was not all that great. And Al Snow says to Steve Blackman it's time to cut the cheese, and just takes their anger out on the Chester McCheeserton guy. Yeah. And there you are. Now we move on to the Triangle Ladder match for the WWF Tag Team Championship between Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff, and the Dudley Boys, the tag champions, Bubba Ray and Devon. Now, this was pretty good. You saw a lot of high-flying action, but later in the match, you also saw Jeff Hardy, who took like a little bit of a bump, I guess. He did a swanton bomb off the top of a big, huge ladder right on Bubba Ray Dudley, but then Hardy landed on the floor and like hurt the backside of his back or somewhere near his butt or somewhere, his tailbone or something, I think. Not sure, but it was just a pretty hard hit he took. But Edge and Christian, who are on top of a ladder with a table on there, throw Matt Hardy off, and he lands onto the table, and Edge and Christian are the new tag champions. I was not expecting them to win. I thought the Hardy Boys were going to get it. But it still was a pretty good match, and I give this a 6.5 out of 10. Oh boy, now we got to go through this one. This match was pretty much nothing. It only lasted for about 2 minutes, but really, it could have been a little bit better, but it really was not. It is the cat fight, where you just throw your opponent like through the ropes, and outside to the floor they go, and then you win. And it's between Terry Runnels along with the Fabulous Moolah taking on the Cat, or a.k.a. Stacy Carter, along with Mae Young, and the special guest referee is Val Venus. They both look pretty good in this. Terry was pretty hot. She also was known as Marlena. She still is pretty cute. But the Cat, haven't really heard much about her that much. So anyway, in the match, the Cat eliminated Terry twice, but Val Venus is getting interrupted by Mae Young, making a distraction. Then Mae Young winds up kissing Val Venus, and that's when the Fabulous Moolah eliminates the Cat, takes her out, and puts Terry back in the ring, and that's when he realizes and sees it and gives her the win, and much to the crowd's delight that was. But it got funny at the end. Mae Young gives the Bronco Buster to the Fabulous Moolah, which is hilarious. She just has her in the corner, and then she just goes like that and just gives it right to her like that. And I just thought that was funny. Yeah. But for the match was just pretty much boring. It really was. I'm unfortunately going to have to give this a 2 out of 10. Yeah, I hate to admit it. Next, we have the 6-person intergender tag team match with Too Cool, Grandmaster Sexay, and Scotty 2 Hotty, along with Chyna as well, taking on the Radicals, Eddie Guerrero, Perry Saturn, and Dean Malenko. This wasn't really too bad of a match. It was alright. Just kind of interesting seeing Chyna with Too Cool and taking on guys as well. She always feuded with Chris Jericho in the late 90s, 99 that is. Yeah, but it was just pretty much not bad of a match. I didn't really expect the Radicals to win or anything. I didn't really think they would, but Too Cool and Chyna got the win. And there you are, and I give this a 5 out of 10. Next, we move on to the first ever, I don't know about first ever, but it's a 2-fall triple threat match for the Intercontinental for the first fall and the European Championship for the second fall. And that is Chris Jericho taking on, gotta mention his name, it's a pay-per-view, but yeah, Chris Benoit, and the Intercontinental Champion and European Champion, Kurt Angle. And I think he's the only wrestler in that time to have both titles. I think. I may be wrong. I don't know. So in the first fall, Chris Benoit got it so he gets the Intercontinental Championship just like that. He held it for a pretty good while. I always remember him as an Intercontinental Champion. And then Chris Jericho got the second fall by getting the European title, much to Kurt Angle's delight as he lost both belts. But it wasn't bad of a match. I give this a 6.5, as this is pretty much a better match than the tag team match. Seeing these three wrestlers, Because Benoit was definitely a very good wrestler, yeah, even WCW as well, but then won't discuss the later years, but he definitely was a great wrestler. And Jericho as well, even though he's not really here that much, and Kurt Angle, who's in that total nonsense crap. Yeah. So there you go about that match, and now we move on to the next one. Now, this one, it could have been a little bit better, if this person had the right tag partner, in my opinion, but he was injured. And this is D-Generation X, X-Pac, and the Road Dogg, along with Tori, Kane's former girlfriend, storyline girlfriend, before she left and went to X-Pac, taking on Kane, along with Paul Bearer and Rikishi. Yeah, it would have been a little bit better if it was Kane and The Undertaker. The first time ever they had been tag partners. If The Undertaker had been healthy and not been injured, it probably would have been The Undertaker and Kane against D-Generation X. Although, I don't know, but this was, D-Generation X got owned to this as they're just outnumbered. And probably it would have been too cool and Rikishi against the Radicals instead of Chyna teaming up with them. I don't really know, and Chyna just probably wouldn't have been in the event at all if The Undertaker was healthy. But The Undertaker had a groin injury, and he wasn't in it. So, Kane and Rikishi get the win, and here comes Pete Rose from WrestleMania 15 when he appeared as the San Diego Chicken, trying to interfere, and he got Tombstone, and he got Tombstone at WrestleMania 14 as well. And 3 years in a row, he gets it 3 times. Yeah, much to the crowd's delight that was. I know they enjoyed that. But yeah. But as for this match, I just give it a 4.5. If it was The Undertaker in it, it just would have been better. And now we just move on to the last match, the main event, which is the Fatal 4-Way Elimination match for the WWF Championship, with every McMahon in a corner of a wrestler. First, we have The Big Show, along with Shane McMahon. Then we have Mick Foley with Linda McMahon, The Rock with Mr. McMahon or Vince McMahon, and the WWF Champion Triple H with Stephanie McMahon Helmsley, the Women's Champion. A McMahon in every corner, something that's never happened before. So, here we go. This was a very long match. It was 39 minutes, almost 40. But you know what I said earlier about it, so we'll just get into it. Mick Foley, no, he didn't. The Big Show was eliminated earlier. He got pinned by a rock bottom from The Rock. And only like 4 minutes into it, just like that, he's out. Now moving on, and Mick Foley was later eliminated by Triple H after getting pedigreed on the chair, and this is probably like the last time we would see Mick Foley as a wrestler. Well, wrestling around that time, then he would later return as the commissioner, as everybody remembered. So, then that just brings it down to The Rock and Triple H. The Rock, who everybody said who was the winner of the 2000 Royal Rumble as well, but even though his feet hit the floor before the Big Show went out, but they still awarded him the win, Let's see. Anyway, so later in the match, Vince McMahon, who has like a chair, winds up turning heel on The Rock and hitting him with the chair. And Triple H just pins him 1, 2, 3, and that's it. And Vince McMahon just reunites with his daughter Stephanie and Shane as well, like getting ready to reunite with him as well or whatever, but minus Linda. But The Rock returns and winds up beating them up, and then Stephanie is in there as well, and he gives her a rock bottom as well, and is attempting to give her the people's elbow, but Triple H tries to interfere, but he gets knocked out of the way, and The Rock still just gives it to her just like that. You know, a good ending to see that, but just a disappointing main event, especially with what Vince McMahon did. And like I said again, the wrong guy won. Like I said. Yeah, very much this main event was just a disappointment. But I'm gonna have to give this. I'm just gonna give it a 5.5. That's really all I'm just gonna give it. And there you are. So, like I said, a lot of the matches on here just were not all that great, including the opener. I like the hardcore one. TNA, Test and Albert getting their win, their debut, but we knew they were going to do that. Edge and Christian, which was a shocker, winning the titles. Thought the Hardys would. The cat fight, which really ruined it, really did. And Too Cool and China, which was decent. And the triple threat match for the Intercontinental and European Championship, which was good. But for out of 10 for this, my opinion is going to have to be a 6 out of 10. You know, I would give it a 5.5, but that's what I gave to the Fatal 4-Way match, but that is my opinion. Yeah, this one just could have been a little bit better. It really could have. Well, that's it for my review of WrestleMania 2000. You know, everybody is welcome to give their opinions of what they thought of it, as you know. Well, that's it for this. I hope you all enjoyed. So please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe. It is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And coming up next will be my WrestleMania 17 review.